Saint Joseph, a role model for parents. As the Catholic Church celebrates this year as the Year of Saint Joseph, the Sunday School has kept this as our theme for the year. We are invited to learn more about Saint Joseph and emulate his loving qualities. For the month of July, we, the confirmation students, would like to highlight the aspect of Saint Joseph as being a role model for parents. The greatness of Saint Joseph is that he was the spouse of Mary and the father of Jesus. Saint Joseph placed himself at the service of the entire plan of salvation. Saint Pope Paul VI pointed out that Joseph expressed his parenthood by his sacrificial service to the mystery of the Incarnation, and so the redemptive purpose of God could be fulfilled. Saint Joseph was the head of the Holy Family. Both he and Mother Mary devoted themselves completely in their role as parents. Saint Joseph turned his human vocation into superhuman love. He placed Jesus and Mary above himself. As a parent of the Son of God, he was at the service of the Messiah who grew to maturity under his roof. What a tremendous responsibility he had to shoulder.
Thanks to his role in salvation history, Saint Joseph has always been venerated as a father by the Catholics. How do we know this? This is shown by the countless churches dedicated to him worldwide. We have numerous religious institutes which have been inspired by his spirituality and bears his name. There are also many traditional expressions of piety in his honor. Several holy men and women were passionately devoted to him. Among them was Saint Theresa of Avila, who chose him as her advocate and intercessor. She had frequent recourse to him and received whatever graces she interceded of him. Encouraged by her own experience, Saint Theresa persuaded others to cultivate a devotion to Joseph. Do you know which day of the week is dedicated to Saint Joseph? Take a guess, I'll wait. It's Wednesday. Many prayer books contain prayers to Saint Joseph with special prayers offered to him each Wednesday. Now, which month is dedicated to Saint Joseph? Any guesses? I'm sure you'll get this right. Yes, it's the month of March. 19th March is his feast day, and hence the month of March is traditionally dedicated to him.
As a descendant of David, from whose stock Jesus was to spring, according to the promise made to David by the prophet Nathan, and as the spouse of Mary of Nazareth. Saint Joseph stands at the crossroads between the Old and the New Testament. Various places in the Bible we see the characteristic of Saint Joseph as being a tender and loving parent. As we read in the Gospel of Luke, Saint Joseph saw Jesus grow daily, not just in wisdom and in years, but also in divine and human favors. According to the prophet Hosea, as the Lord had done with Israel, so Joseph did with Jesus. He taught him to walk, taking him by the hand. He was for him like a father who raises an infant to his cheeks, bending down to him and feeding him. That is from Hosea chapter 11.
In his role as the head of a family, Joseph taught Jesus to be obedient to his parents, as we see in Luke chapter 2. This was in accordance with God's command, mentioned in Exodus chapter 20. In Joseph, Jesus saw the tender love of God. As a father, has compassion for his children, so the Lord has compassion for those who fear him. Psalms chapter 103 verse 13. We know that in the synagogue, during the praying of Psalms, Joseph would have surely heard that the God of Israel is the God of tender love, who is good to all, whose compassion is over all that he has made. The evil one makes us see and condemns our frailty, whereas the Spirit brings it to light with tender love. Pointing fingers and judging others are frequently signs of an inability to accept our own weaknesses. Only tender love will save us from the snares of the accuser. For this verse, see Revelation chapter 12, verse 10.
That is why it is important to encounter God's mercy, especially in the sacrament of reconciliation, where we experience God's truth and tenderness. We know that God's truth does not condemn, but instead welcomes, embraces, sustains, and forgives us. That truth always presents itself to us like the merciful Father in Jesus' parable, the prodigal son, or shall we call it the forgiving Father. As in the Gospel of Luke, our Father comes out to meet us, restores our dignity, sets us back on our feet, and rejoices for us. As the Father says, "This my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." Even through Joseph's fears, it is God's will, his history, and his plan are at work. Saint Joseph teaches us that faith in God means believing that God can work even through our deepest fears, our troubles, and weaknesses. He also teaches us that amidst the problems in life, we must never be afraid to let the God guide us. At times we want to be in complete control, yet God always sees a bigger picture. Once we surrender to our loving and merciful Father, we face any challenge knowing that we are protected.